Hello and welcome back to Heart Postured. This is now episode 10 and it's a very special one given that now I have a special guest here as you can see, and this is one of my closest friends that we kind of been through some things together, as a friend, and which is cool in so many different stages in our lives. And one of these stages is becoming a mother, and yeah, I just want to touch on this topic. And I know a lot of women out there would like to hear about what we're going to speak on. So yeah, I welcome you.
Hi, my name is Taisha. Thank you so much for inviting me today. It's a pleasure to be here and touch this topic. It's a very important topic, and let's just see. We're hoping that from this episode we are able to help someone else out there. Yo también voy a hablar en español en varias cosas. Queremos mandar el mensaje a todas esas mamis que están ahí pasando por un momento difícil y dejarles saber que no están solas. Así que esperamos poder ayudarlas en lo que sea.
Yeah. We're going to start with, what did you first feel and think when you first found out you were about to become a mother?
So the first thing that I felt was a mix of emotions, honestly. It was fear, it was confusion, it was love at the same time. But most importantly, it was a lot of worry. Yes, it was very shocking to me. Like, I know people say, oh, but do you expect a car if you're doing what you're doing? But it's not that.
Yeah.
Is that it's not something that you think it will be so serious at the moment. I'm just being very honest. And very, very, very shocking to me. How about you?
Yeah, very much the same exact feelings, like the rush of emotions of all of the questions, all of the what if, all of but like, oh, but this, but that, oh my god, like what now? And how do I go about this? And just like that initial shock, that I feel like a lot of women, even in movies, they show like, oh my god, I'm pregnant. Like it's always like that shocking feeling.
Yeah,
And it's real, that's actually a real thing. So,
it is.
yeah, a lot of fear and questions and like, oh my god, I'm growing a human inside of me, like, so it's just a lot.
I'm going to take care of this human for the rest of my life. It's just like how I'm gonna raise this human. Is it going to be a good person? Is it going to be a happy baby?
How am I gonna handle the load?
Yep.
How am I gonna be, like, am I gonna be a good parent?
Yeah, it's all the questions. Yeah, but I do feel like at the time we didn't have so much understanding about our God, and also I felt like that was the most shocking part of it, because he says, give me your fear, give me your problems, and I'll handle them.
Yeah.
So we tend to do that a lot, like with everything in general, that we forget that he can take control of everything in our life if we give it to him. So I think that's one of the things, but at the same time is like very, very, very confusing.
Yeah, because you're in it, so it's like,
yeah,
es diferente. Tú estás adentro del momento.
sí,
Cuando tú estás dentro del momento, todo está como like blocked.
sí, está como está nublado.
Sí.
Está todo nublado, los pensamientos, las emociones. En verdad, no se piensa en otra cosa más que la preocupación en el momento. So, sí, eso también es un pequeño factor del por qué. Pero nada, hoy vamos a hablar de nuestras experiencias y de lo que creemos que es algo muy común, y muchas mujeres tienen miedo, ya sea por la crítica, ya sea porque sienten que no son suficientes, porque sienten que no son buenas madres, tal vez se sientan como un failure, pero no es así. Aquí vamos a hablar un poquito de todo y para que ustedes también se sientan bien. Este es un espacio libre para todas nosotras.
Yeah. That's so true. Okay, my next question is, once you gave birth, like, the initial feeling, like, finding out you're pregnant, okay, that's cool, you know, and then the whole pregnancy, that's a whole a thing in itself.
Mhm.
And then once you gave birth, like what was the difference between having him in your belly and experiencing those 9 months? Because that's the whole thing. 9 months,
It's a lot.
you know, and then once you gave birth, like, did something change in your brain or like what happened?
So first, because you asked me how it was at the beginning while he was inside and then when he came outside, it was two different completely feelings because, like I told you before, I felt guilty because I wasn't feeling the connection that some mothers used to say, like, oh, I love my son, I love my daughter, whatever everything. I was kind of like, why don't I feel the same? You know, like, am I a bad mother? Am I going to be horrible mother because I don't feel nothing towards my son that I'm carrying inside? And it was just the fear in there that was not letting me process everything and the blessing that is was actually growing inside of me.
Yeah.
So at the end of my trimester, I started, feeling him more. He was moving too much. Remember when you used to talk to him, he
Oh my
was
God,
moving like a tornado.
yeah.
So, I started feeling like, okay, this is my baby, I'm going to take care of him. But still, not until I gave birth that I saw my life in a very thin line. It was a very stressful birth experience, and we both were in danger. So, after so long and like fighting, for my life and my son's life, after I saw him, and it was like, yeah, like give me like I don't want to, I don't want him away from me, like. And then I felt him, and then as soon as I breastfed him, because I last 2 years and a half breastfeeding my son, it was amazing. I was like, yeah, no, this is mine. This is mine. This is my baby, and I'm gonna take care of him. So it was a very completely different feeling having him outside than having him inside. And that's what I want you girls out there to understand, that it's okay if you girls don't feel the same connection while the baby is inside. So, just letting you girls know that it could change. And that doesn't mean that you're a bad or a horrible mother.
And then also the myth, like not a myth, but like lo que dicen la gente, or like if you have a bad pregnancy or if you have like if you cry too much, if you feel this, if you do that, your baby's gonna come out a certain way and stuff.
Oh yeah, we did have that conversation. That was one of my fears too. I'm a woman of a lot of fears back then, I used to tell her, what about if my son doesn't come out happy because my hormones, and I also deal with PMDD, which is some hormonal issues. I was going crazy with the hormones and crying and feeling sad and worry. And I was afraid that my son was going to come out like very sad, not a happy baby, because people used to tell me, oh, if you cry, the baby's going to come up the same. And that used to be one of my worries until like God told me, like, here, and he showed me my son is the happiest kid I've ever seen. He's such a smiley little guy. He's a silly boy. And then it's like, it's a example of just trust me, that not the what you're thinking, it is what it's going to be. So yeah, I don't think that could be true. I'm not gonna lie, it could be true, but not to the extreme where people say like, oh, it's your fault. Like it's many factors. If your son sees you sad, if your daughter sees you sad, of course, they know, they sense all that. So after they out, that's where we have to be more careful about our feelings and showing them in front of them, because they will literally observe it, and they know.
Yeah,
They know
absorb everything.
every little thing, good and bad.
Yeah, I didn't realize how much they absorbed until, like she was a couple months old.
Yep. Yeah, they pay a lot of attention. I remember, Elliot, when, because I got postpartum depression It could go from the beginning of your pregnancy, of your after you give birth until 2 years up later.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It could happen anytime. And I kind of had a little bit at the beginning, but then it like went away until like after. And he was already like 2, so he was very aware of everything. And I remember he saw me crying once, and he went and wiped my tears. And he told me, "Why are you crying?" And then I'm like, "Mommy just doesn't feel good."
Yeah.
And then he was like, "I don't want my mommy to cry." So that kind of like shocks me in there. I'm like, yeah, they literally see you.
They're learning how to be
Yeah,
a human.
they are. They are.
And it's like, it's interesting to now see that as a parent, that it's literally a gift from God, like it
Yeah.
says in His Word, because they're literally teaching us how to be human again.
They are. They are actually teaching us how to be humans because they are teaching us patience, which we tend to forget. Pero los niños nos enseñan a ser pacientes, nos enseñan a que las cosas no se pueden llevar rápidas y nos enseñan amor. También nos enseñan mucho amor. Un corazón de un niño es puro y honesto. Por eso es que dicen, los niños siempre dicen la verdad, los niños esto, pero es que el corazón de ellos no está expuesto a malicias, no ha estado expuesto a dolor como nosotros, ¿verdad? Y por eso es que tenemos que protegerlo lo mejor que podamos con el ambiente alrededor de nosotros, las personas con las que acercamos a nuestros hijos, no importa si es familia, no importa si es amistades, si hay ciertas cosas que no le están ayudando positivamente a usted romper la generación, la maldición generacional,
Sí.
¿verdad? Tiene que hacer lo que tenga que hacer. Somos muchos jóvenes que estamos rotos. Muchas jóvenes también no tuvimos a nuestros padres o quizás nuestras madres y así sucesivamente. Hay mucho dolor. La manera en la que nos comportamos hasta después de grande, nos damos cuenta de ciertas cosas de nuestra niñez que lo estamos implicando ahora sin darnos cuenta. Y por eso es que es importante acknowledge those things.
Darse cuenta.
Yeah, like acknowledge those things to do better, in front of our kids and to those moms out there. Yeah.
That's another thing, like that we just said, like to do better because they're watching us. So it's like, ahí mismo you also notice your own habits.
Yeah.
Much more. Like it's under ¿cómo se dice? Magnifying glass.
Como a través de un espejo, a través de un...
Like, like the ones that you can like look at cells.
Okay, como un microscopio.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's like now my habits are like abajo de un microscopio en como que todo like, oh my God, yo hago esto, y ella me está mirando.
Ella lo va a hacer.
So, yo creo que es una parte de being a parent that it's just literally showing us ourselves and it's helping us be better human. Either you take it as becoming better human or you just let it be, So it's like we have that choice to use that and take that, instead of just like blaming the child, like, oh, porque this child is doing this or that. But it's like, but what are you doing? They're grabbing everything you do and everything they see, not what you tell them most of the time.
Yeah, no, it's definitely like that. It's kind of difficult when you try to raise your kids certain way and the people, because your kids are going to be exposed to many different families and many different raising families, and it's scary because the way that you are teaching your kids to do this and do that, you have to prepare them for the future, and that's also scary. That's part of being a mom. That's part of our worries when we have kids. ¿Qué va a pasar con nuestros hijos cuando se junten con otras personas que no sabemos lo que esté pasando en casa? ¿Cómo van a tratar a nuestros hijos que no ha tomado tanto esfuerzo hacer y cómo criarlos? y que nos vengan a hacerle daño, eso es como un poquito shocking, honestly. Now that I'm thinking about it more,
It's
because Elliot's going to school, so I'm a little bit more worried now. Solamente yo siento que deberíamos, como madres, porque no se puede hablar de los padres, estamos hablando de las madres, de esas mujeres que tienen una pareja que las ayudan y toman su rol de padre y esposos. Muchas felicitaciones, ustedes también tienen un lugar muy especial en el corazón de las mujeres que sí aprecian los buenos hombres. Esas personas que toman su responsabilidad, por lo menos no tocó la suerte de tener hombres responsables, porque he visto muchos casos de personas que conozco y a mi alrededor cómo tratan a la mujer y los hijos, más importante a los hijos. Y siento que no debería ser así. Siento que si usted va a tener un hijo con una persona, no sería bueno que solamente lo tenga por tenerlo. Hay ciertas cosas que hay que cambiar ya una vez que usted se vuelve padre. Y yo sé que muchas mujeres pasan por eso, donde se enamoran, tienen un hijo con una persona y resulta que la persona no es el mismo que planteaba y le toca ser madre soltera. A esas madres solteras yo le mando un fuerte abrazo. A las madres solteras le mando un fuerte abrazo y usted lo está haciendo muy bien. Si la vida ya es difícil con tener a una persona a tu lado que te ayuda, no me quiero imaginar no teniendo a nadie sin que te ayude, teniendo que hacer el trabajo doble, que eso es una de las cosas. Ser madre es un trabajo.
Yeah.
Ser madre es un trabajo. No pueden permitir que le digan que no están haciendo un trabajo, que tienen que ponerse a trabajar. Y las que son madres y trabajan, esas también, un abrazo les mando porque no es fácil. Okay, I have a question for you. Which ones has been the most challenging habit that you have to kind of stopped? Because when you didn't have the baby, it was easier to do than now that you have her.
Well, actually, a couple of things. It's not literally just one, but like as simple as, I know a lot of women will say this, like as simple as taking a bath. Like
Oh,
it's no
yeah.
longer, I have to think about what's going on with her before I can even get in the shower, or I have to think about if I'm gonna step outside to the grocery store. Did she take her nap yet? Or like, do I take her nap before I leave the house? And like everything changes. Like all the habits it all changes. Can it get done? Yes. But it's also nice, like the people that do have the help, because I feel like it makes it easier for those women that have the help, for someone to watch their child while they do certain things. And I definitely had that, but because of my own anxieties around motherhood and when I first became a mother, like even though I had the people around me to help me, I just wanted to be with my baby. I just wanted to take care of her myself. Like I just had like this attachment that I just wanted to like make sure that she was okay with my eyes. And I don't know why I felt that way. I just did. And I know people around me wanted to help me. Like I know you used to offer me like, oh, I'll help you, I'll watch her, because I know how I know you know how I felt. And then yeah, I just didn't view it that way then. But now that she's older, I don't know if it's because she's older and I know she's more aware, she's so smart.
Yeah.
That I'm able to feel more comfortable to like leave her with her grandmother, or even leave her with you or my sister or anybody that can quickly watch her for me while I can do, certain things. So I don't know if that's a thing as well, like not wanting to leave your child when they're like, I know, because some women go to like maternity leave.
Yeah.
They only get like 3 months, 6 months.
Yeah.
I know I went on maternity leave. I had like maybe like 6 months, I think. And I had to like go back. Or was it 3 months? I can't remember anymore.
I think it was 3 months.
3 months, right? Yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's 3 months. How am I going to leave her? And
the guilt of leaving her.
Yeah, the
too.
guilt of like leaving this little child. So it's like I feel like no one prepared me for these moments.
Hmm.
Like people talk about it, but they don't really go deep in it,
Hmm.
you know? So it's like going back to when I first gave birth, or when I found out I was pregnant, you know, like, yes, I found out I was pregnant. I have all these questions and stuff. But one thing that I wish I knew more is once you have this child, what are you going to do with the child? Who's going to stay with the child? Are you going to go back to work? Are you going to have to figure out a way to stay home with the child to raise the child? Who's going to be your um
Support.
support
Hmm.
around that? So I feel like that's a like it really is a very important question to ask yourself before you even get into the act of possibly becoming a mother, because it's deep and we really need to be careful.
We really do
I feel
need
like
to
I
be
just went
careful.
all around, but yeah.
No, it's normal. Like everything you have said right now, like I do understand. I remember telling you, hey, like I can take care of her, but I also understood that the feeling that you were having, because I also felt the same. Um, I got lucky to spend at least the first year of my son's life with him. It was not easy. It was not easy. People say stay at home moms like that. They are having it easy. No, they're not. You're going through the hormones. You're going through painful. Your body is getting back to normal. I had a emergency C-section, so I wish it was normal. Because usually they say that women that give birth normal, they recovers like
Yeah,
faster.
yeah.
So it was just too much, but I'm very glad. I have all these little videos of him that I didn't miss a moment with him and his face with no teeth. Like, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So that is good. After I started living him, because I started accepting help, I felt like, okay, I can be a mother now because I was losing myself. Nobody tells you and nobody prepares you to lose yourself. I'm picking myself up now, honestly, the more because until I had to go under surgery to remove my skin. I don't blame no women out there that go do that because nobody also prepares you for the change that you go through physically. My breasts went down the drain. My breasts are dancing in the floor.
That's like it's amazing to breastfeed, but it comes with its own.
With his own, like, what is it called? That's the word that I always miss. Eh, Dar el seno viene con sus consecuencias, ¿no? Viene con sus consecuencias de manera no muy positivas porque aparte de que sí viene con cosas positivas, también negativas. Por ejemplo, dicen que el breastfeed es lo mejor para los niños, la leche materna, pero no te preparan cuando tú estás dando el seno y viene un pequeño shocking de hormonas. Excuse me.
Oh my god, yeah.
Y te da náusea y te
Oh
mareas.
my god, I forgot that.
Y te sientes incómoda. Sí, nosotros olvidamos mucho lo que pasa al principio, pero también los cramps de adentro de tu estómago y todo, y el líquido, la cara, te cambia completamente. Mi cuerpo fue por un cambio en la piel donde me dejó muchas verruguitas en el cuello.
Another topic, because I know motherhood is so broad. So another question is, when it comes to motherhood and the opinions of, the outside world, family, friends, people online, people that you see in the street, and etc. How do you feel about it, and how did you handle, the opinions?
At the beginning, I was shocked because I was like, nobody should tell me how to raise my kid. I was in protective mom
Me too,
mode.
yeah.
Like, no, I'm very observative. And then it's like, I'm going to see your work and see if I like the results from what you did. And that's where I'm going to take it. Siento que es un poco juzgar, en verdad, pero es como al principio yo sentía que querían como decirme más o menos, no más o menos, me querían decir cómo hacer el rol de madre. Yo entiendo que uno es primerizo y uno tiene que aprender cosas nuevas, pero entonces yo con el tiempo, porque me sentía como incómoda, yo decía, pero mira tu trabajo, no te salió bien. Entonces es como un poquito, estaba juzgando, pero ya después cuando yo fui entendiendo, porque también es normal que uno se sienta así, es primera vez que tú eres madre, tú quieres proteger a tu hijo o tu hija con todo de ti, ¿me entiendes? Entonces es normal que se sienta uno así. Pero a través del tiempo yo dije, ok, yo puedo tomar una opinión, si me funciona. Entonces, de todas maneras, cuando las personas te dan una opinión para hacer algo bien, no lo tomes como que te están tratando de decir qué hacer, simplemente te quieren ayudar. Ahora está en ti
Yeah.
si esa opinión te va a ayudar, si tú puedes aplicarla y va contigo.
Yeah.
Entonces, yo después que comencé, como un ejemplo, tú me puedes dar una opinión sobre cómo hacer algo con mi hijo. Si veo que es algo que yo puedo hacer y me vaya a funcionar, pues yo lo trato. De igual manera, yo te voy a dar las gracias por tu opinión. Lo que sí es que hay ciertas personas que quieren que uno haga las cosas de cierta manera, como lo hicieron ellos. Los tiempos cambiaron. Los tiempos cambiaron totalmente diferentes. Hay ciertas cosas ahora que nuestros padres no lo saben, nuestros padres no han topado ni han llegado a verlo, ¿verdad? Entonces, nosotros también tenemos que ser comprensivas porque es lo que ellos saben, fue lo que ellos aprendieron. Hay ciertas cosas, por ejemplo, mi suegra me daba consejos, muchos consejos, y yo tomaba lo que me iban a mí. Por ejemplo, los remedios que también funcionaron conmigo cuando yo era pequeña, ese tipo de cosas yo lo tomo de ella. El de no pelear en frente de tus hijos en caso de que tengas un problema con tu pareja o algo, son consejos que se toman de buena manera porque eso es el bien que quiere para los niños, ¿verdad? Así que las opiniones yo las tomo de quien las dice. Yo la tomo de quien las dice, no es juzgar, es solamente tomándola de quien las dice. Si viene alguien a decirme cómo hacer algo, pero yo sé que esa persona no lo está haciendo bien, es como que no lo voy a ofender, pero le voy a decir gracias. Y si no me aplica, pues no me aplica. Pero las opiniones yo las tomo de quien las dices. ¿Y tú cómo tú las tomas?
Bueno, a lo primero, yo cada opinión en realidad yo lo cogía como like offensive.
Ofensivo.
Ajá.
Ujú.
Y yo era like I'm the mom, let me figure it out. Like, don't tell me what to do. Like, I know I can do this. Like it was like a time like where like they were giving me advice like, oh, but make sure you put her hat on, make sure you put her socks on. Like, me decían cosas como que ya son lógicas.
Ujú.
Y eso me molestaba porque tú me estás diciendo algo como que ya yo sé. Yo lo estoy haciendo, eso para qué me lo estás repitiendo. Pero little by little yo aprendí que no me decían la cosa
Formal.
por mal o porque pensaba que yo no sabía, sino que yo, it's a baby, people care for babies, so me lo decían como de manera like, oh, make sure you put your coat on, like, como in a cute way.
Yeah.
Pero yo no lo cogía así. Y también cuando yo salía para como al supermercado o algo, yo, mi hija, ella, she gets hot easily, like she can get hot easily. So alguna vez yo le quitaba las medias cuando salíamos y cosas así. Y había como maybe like una mujer una vez que me dijo, oh, you have to put her socks on. And I'm like, you don't know why I took her socks off. Why are you telling me, to put her socks on when you don't know that my daughter feels better right now without her socks on? And having socks or not having socks isn't really a health risk,
Ujú.
that I realized, like it's so many like little things. También como tú dices que los tiempos de antes decían, oh, porque no hagas esto, tenés que hacer esto, no salga cuando tú estás embarazada.
No salgas, no te laves la cabeza.
Ajá, de una vez que tú das salud, no hagas esto, no hagas esto, porque te va a pasar esto. Um, pero también yo he hablado mucho con um, like older women, like the grandparents, que me han dicho que en los tiempos de antes cuidaban a las mamás más como con más
Prioridades.
prioridades que ahora.
Sí.
Antes ellos decían eso y le hacían like soups and stews and everything warm and the woman didn't go out the house. You know what? And now that I'm thinking back, it kind of does make sense because maybe that's why the woman was able to kind of heal internally
Ujú.
and mentally and physically to stay away from the outside world.
She was being taken care of.
Yeah, she was being taken care of in a way that was very nurturing.
Yeah.
And I feel like as women we need that, but this society right now, or where we live in the part of the world,
Yeah.
what we have going on in this side, like it was nothing like that. It's like you come home, you give birth, you either have to go right back to work, or you have to either figure it out, or you have to go back and start cooking and cleaning and do all the
Yeah.
things. Because if you're alone, like you have no other
Yeah.
option but to do so. And then I feel like por eso es que algunas madres, la gente piensa, oh, porque ella está loca, mire, ella está así porque after she gave birth and she's acting como hysterical for no reason when a lot of things come into play and play a role.
Nadie se da cuenta de eso, o pocas personas lo hacen, porque es como tú estás diciendo, antes a la mujer embarazada se trataba como una reina,
Sí.
se cuidaba. Yo sé que de donde uno viene, que es República Dominicana, allá todo el mundo, los vecinos, que fulano, que si yo quién, te ayudaban con los niños, o sea, era como una
Sí.
comunidad donde te ayudaban y si tú necesitabas algo. So to make the conclusion about the help, it's not the same as how it was before, like you had all this help coming from your neighbors and everybody, like I said.
Your
And
village.
yeah, your village. And then now is like, okay, but I moved far, or especially in this country, like, como dice el dominicano, quien se casa, casa quiere. Entonces uno como que se aparta de la familia, entonces le toca hacer las cosas como doble por sí sola, ¿verdad? Y no es muy divertido que digamos, pero como que te prepara para la vida. Y tampoco te dicen las amistades no que se pierden, sino como que ya no tienes contacto como antes. Una vez que tú te conviertes en madre y tus otras amistades que no son tus padres o algo, te invitan a lugares y a ti te da pena hasta decir, no, no puedo o tengo que, ya como que todo es diferente, ya ahora tengo que pedir permiso básicamente, quién me va a agarrar al niño, cómo voy a hacer esto y el otro. Ella se quedó conmigo durante todo este proceso y le doy gracias a Dios por eso. Mi amigo también, Oliver, que en paz descanse, él también fue muy bueno conmigo, siempre me ayudó a no sentirme sola y que no me había quedado sin amistades. Muchas gracias por eso, yo estaré eternamente agradecida.
So you remember cuando yo estaba embarazada y él me llevó all the way to Jersey City, I think, to get me the hot dog that I wanted.
Yeah, él era así, él, cualquier cosa que tú querías, él te buscaba la manera de hacerte sentir bien. Siento que para una mujer es bueno tener el support around people that care about you, people that actually care about you.
important.
no de la boca para afuera. Las personas que están dispuestas a tenerte paciencia, las personas que están dispuestas a darte una mano cuando tú no te sientas bien, también cuando tú estés feliz, que estén contigo, porque eso es lo más importante. Alguien que tú puedas confiar, que si algún día te pasa algo, tú sabes que esa persona va a cuidar de tu bebé en caso de no sea por monetario ni como le dicen, este,
Like to get something in return.
ajá, como obtener algo o quizás materialista, ¿verdad? Porque hay otro tema también, las personas, el dominicano tiene la maña de elegir los padrinos y, y las madrinas de los niños y que por dinero, eso no es así. Yo sí, yo elegí a Rose como la madrina de mi hijo porque yo sé que si algún día yo no estoy, ella le va, aunque no sea ella que se quede con mi bebé, pero yo sé que va a inculcar las cosas buenas en él y lo va a querer como un hijo. Y por eso es importante las personas a tu alrededor, como mujer, como madre nueva, trata de siempre encontrar a alguien positivo para alrededor de tu hijo, para mantenerlo alrededor de tus hijos, ¿verdad? La negatividad se tiene que cortar. Ciertas cosas van a estar ahí, porque es imposible que no vamos a ser realistas, ¿verdad? Ciertas cosas van a estar ahí, pero lo más importante es protejan la paz de sus hijos y la suya también. No están solas, no todo lo que usted siente en la mente que se está volviendo loca, que no tiene ayuda, que está fea, que ahora qué vas a hacer, todos esos pensamientos son válidos. Creo que todas hemos pasado por eso en algún momento de nuestras vidas como madre. Mucho miedo, mucha cohibición, porque uno se cohíbe de ciertas cosas que antes a uno le gustaba hacer y ahora no se puede. Es bien importante analizar su entorno y ver qué es lo que es bueno para usted y para sus hijos. Eso es una de las cosas más importantes y nosotras estamos tratando de que se sientan bien consigo mismas y que nada, yo tuve que hacerme una cirugía donde yo me removí la piel colgante de mi estómago, porque no es que yo era una persona gorda, pero mi bebé casi nació de 9 libras por cesárea de emergencia, entonces me destruyó los músculos y tuve que tenerlos reparados de nuevo y mi piel se fue, recibí críticas por eso. Así que si usted como madre quiere hacerse un arreglito en su cuerpo, yo sé que Dios te mandó de cierta manera, pero creo que tampoco se deberían de sentir incómodas por eso, por querer volver a sentirse como antes, ¿no? Nada exagerado, claro está, pero, ¿sabe? Siento que esa ayudita ahí para ti como mujer no debería de hacerte sentir mal. Eh, hacer tus ejercicios, mira, qué bella quedó ella quedó hermosa, de hermosísima quedó ella después de dar a luz. Y yo sé que quizás ella no lo ve.
You see it that way. I was
Ajá.
gonna say that, like, tú lo ves de una manera, pero you yourself, like, you're your worst critic.
Yeah, you
know, so
criticize
it's like,
your,
I was talking about that with my friend, Gabby, how, like, I'm still, like, after I gave birth, I'm still finding, like, myself in that, like, physically, mentally, and, like you're never gonna look the same as you did before you had a child, you know? So it's like you're getting used to this, new everything in your body, the way it moves, the way it looks. Like, the thing about breastfeeding, like I breastfed for a year and some change, and like it feels different and it looks different, but it's like, okay, now I have to make the conscious decision to work on myself to, be good physically and mentally for myself, my child, and because if you look good, is a fact. If you look good, you feel good. Like there's no way around it. And, like the Bible said, is itself. Like the body is a temple. Like you have to work at it. Like physical training is of some value, but like it's all intertwined. Like how are you also doing spiritually? Because that's one of the main things. Like if you're spiritually healthy, your body naturally is going to want to be healthy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I feel like that's what I'm navigating now. And I was telling my husband that I want to like to start going to the gym. Like, you know, now that she's older, maybe I can live with someone for a little bit, like to, you know, as I can do that for myself, because community is like the most important thing.
It is.
You know, and like I didn't realize that, but like it says like the body, you know, the body of Christ. How are we coming together as women? How are we coming together as family and friends, you know, without judging, without commotion, without adding all of the stresses that life already brings, you know, and I feel like that's what I want to like bring back. Even though like I have my own internal dialogue within like this person, like, okay, back to the next question. I'm sorry. Like,
It's okay.
like, okay, so you know how everybody parents differently.
Yeah.
So it's also like finding those boundaries. So how do you find those boundaries with people like, okay, well, I want my child to be raised this way, but you have this community. It's great to have this community, yes. But how are you building these boundaries with your community that is able to understand what you need from them? And also, letting them also help you in a way that, like, you know what they're doing isn't to hurt your child or hurt you. I don't know if you
Yeah.
get my point.
No, yeah, I do understand. It's just, I'm a reply to that in Spanish. Es difícil porque es como te dije ahorita, ellos aprendieron ciertas cosas
Mhm.
diferentes a nosotros. Entonces, que una persona ahora en día entienda de la manera en la que tú quieres criar a tu hijo es bien importante. Si usted encuentra a una persona, por ejemplo, sus madres, los abuelos de sus niños, una hermana, un hermano que entienda y que respete tu decisión, vale oro. Eso habla mucho más de la persona con la que usted está pidiendo la ayuda en sí, porque es respetando y poniendo límites. Eso es como set boundaries.
It's important.
Es bien importante. En ese aspecto es bien importante que a esa persona, porque es bueno tener la comunidad, como dijiste, pero que en la comunidad entiendan cómo tú quieras raise your kid, es que entiendan eso, eso es como oro en estos tiempos, porque hay personas que no, que porque yo lo hice de esta manera, tiene que ser así, así funcionó. Entonces eso es una de las cosas con las que también se está lidiando ahora en día, pero hay que tener paciencia. Hay que tener paciencia y hablar las cosas con calma y explicar el por qué, porque eso es como enseñarle a un adulto de nuevo a cómo hacer las cosas ya después de haber aprendido de otra manera.
Yeah, that's another thing. But setting those boundaries, I know, is really important because not only does it show respect to the other person,
Claro.
but it shows that people are able to understand and be able to come together and not create a battle between, oh, porque yo lo hago así, tú lo tienes que hacer así, or like, oh, because, you know, like this mom does it this way, or this mom, like, mom shouldn't be bashing other moms.
No, they shouldn't.
I feel like that's not the point here, you know?
Yeah.
Of course, if someone's doing something to harm the child, like, that's, you know, that's to an extent. That's
Yeah.
you know?
So, esa es una de las cosas, sí, que también antes de irnos quería decir, si usted es madre y usted tiene un niño o una niña y lo está criando de cierta manera, porque yo esté criando a mi hijo de otra manera que no sea igual a la de usted, o ella esté criando a su hija de otra manera, no quiere decir que ella o yo lo estemos haciendo mal, ni usted tampoco. Entonces, eso es lo que queremos que entiendan. Cada cosa que usted hace con su familia es válido, pero nunca traten de invalidar lo que el otro hace. Como les dije al principio, si usted quiere dar un consejo, si acepta, si aplica con tu persona, entonces se implementa con uno mismo. Pero si no, no es necesario que juzguen que mi hijo hace esto, que mi hijo hace el otro, que y por qué tu hijo no lo hace, que por qué tu hijo... Todos los niños son diferentes no todo niño que no habla quiere decir que tiene algún espectro o que tiene autismo. Eso tienen que parar de hacer ese tipo de cosas. Hay niños que se le toma más tiempo hablar. Hay niños que se le toma más tiempo caminar. Yo estoy 100% segura que las madres ya saben eso. No hay por qué traérselo encima y restregárselo en la cara. Sean un poco más empáticos, tengan un poquito más de comprensión, ¿verdad? Tengan mucha cuenta a lo que le dicen a una persona que es madre por primera vez. Usted no sabe cómo se va a sentir la otra persona. Yo me acuerdo que me decían, ay, pero yo di a luz normal, ni eso pudiste tú hacer. Me dijeron eso. So with that being said, it's not nice to judge other mothers. No juzguen a las otras madres. Hagan sus cosas a su manera. Si quieren dar un consejo, denlo. Si una persona no quiere tomarlo, pues no lo tome. Lo único es que porque usted pasó un embarazo de cierta manera, no quiere decir que la otra persona también lo pasará igual. Es bien diferente. Así que pónganse y céntrense en su camino, en su, como le dicen, en su película de la vida, lo que le toque a usted hacer, en vez de usted ir a verle los errores a otra persona y decírselo, en verdad, especialmente a una mujer que acaba de dar a luz o cómo hacer su trabajo de madre y eso. No, no hagan eso, no juzguen a nadie ni a ninguna madre por cómo ella hace ciertas cosas si usted no lo hace de esa manera.
Yeah.
Ujú.
Well, there's so much to talk about, but the last thing that I want to touch on is through this whole process, what has helped you cope, and come out strong. Like your son is about to be
For
4 next month, right?
yeah.
So it's like within these 4 years and from the beginning now, like what has helped you cope and get through and become the mom that you are now, resilient and strong and not letting things get you like deep and like, what it comes with, like, like postpartum depression and all the anxieties around it and stuff like that. And what advice do you have for those that might be going through it right now?
Si usted está pasando por ese momento, a mí lo que me ayudó especialmente fue tener personas como Rose a mi alrededor, las personas que me escuchaban, que no me juzgaban, que a pesar de que no entendían lo que estaba pasando en el momento, porque se toma mucho entendimiento en entender algo por lo que usted no está pasando. Busquen a las personas que le brinden ayuda. No está mal buscar ayuda profesional, para nada. Eso no significa que usted está loca. Dejen esos tabúes de que un psicólogo está loco. No es así. Si usted va a donde alguien para que le ayude a cómo mejorar en algo que usted no está teniendo bien o que no le está pasando bien, eso dice más de usted que de la persona que está opinando en que no vaya, porque usted quiere mejorar. Para aprender en la vida hay que buscar esa extra ayuda, porque usted solo no va a aprender. Así que mi consejo es busquen ayuda profesional, también tengan amistades que las apoyen, no las juzguen. Olvídense del mundo ahí afuera, ya ustedes tienen que concentrarse en ustedes mismas y sus bebés, por un bien. Acuérdense que estos pequeños humanos van a ser alguien así igual que nosotras algún día. Y es bueno para que, digo yo, para que les vaya bien, busquen ayuda, no tengan vergüenza, no tengan miedo. Si tienen que recaer, si han recaído 1 y 2 y 3 veces en la misma, vuelvan y levántense. Siempre van a haber personas que van a querer hacerle daños a ustedes, así que traten lo más que puedan de no permitírselo, porque al final Dios todo lo ve. Y aquel que le quiera hacer daño a usted, a su hijo, a su familia, dicen, todo aquí en la tierra se paga, ¿no? Así que sean siempre buenas amigas, siempre sean buenas amistades y buenas hijas también. Y nada, ¿tú qué les dirías a esas mujeres ahí?
Well, I'm gonna say it in English because Spanish for me, I'm still.
Yeah, it's good. I said it in Spanish, so yeah.
But what helped me kind of come to now, like my daughter's about to be 2 soon. So within these almost 2 years of being a mother and everything, I feel like the most important thing for me was having my relationship with God on top of all. Because I remember the first few months, like I was freshly postpartum, like everything was so new, navigating everything. Like I was looking back on my old videos, and so many of them, like I'm just worshiping the Lord with my child and like figuring out like, okay, like she's upset, like what do I do, like the anxieties that come with that, and I couldn't handle that myself, like I physically could not. And the only thing that I was able to handle was like how to come to God with these feelings and emotions. So God, just take them because I cannot handle them anymore. Like, like you gave me my daughter, but now you have to help me through this process. So within that, apart from that, is also having the right community, like my friends, my family that really were there, and looking for help. Like I know a couple of times I went to church and I spoke to the pastors and um so many women there that really helped me like postpartum and even my whole pregnancy, because you guys heard a little bit in my past episode about when I was pregnant, how I was feeling and all of those things. But yeah, my advice though is just to bring all of your emotions and lay it down on the table, because all of your emotions are valid. You're not going crazy, and one step at a time, like your child is gonna grow within a year. Like if someone told me that my daughter was gonna be like her own little human before she turned 1 years old, I would have said like, no, you're crazy. Like a baby is supposed to be a baby for a couple years, but it does not feel that way. And just enjoy all the little moments as you can, even with all of your emotions, because it really does go by super super fast.
Yeah.
You can really ever really expect.
Yeah, el tiempo vuela rápido.
Too fast. So it's like for those that say like, oh, don't lose yourself in motherhood. It's not losing yourself in motherhood, because they grow so fast that you have to enjoy being a mother within the first couple months, because that's all you're gonna get. Unless you
Yeah.
have another child.
Yeah.
You're never gonna have that experience again with that little one. So it's like, don't feel bad for people that say like, oh, you're not the same anymore. Now you're a mom. You don't want to do this. You don't do that. Well, I just became a mother. This is a season.
Yeah.
You're in a season for a reason. Like seasons change. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, handle that season, stored it well until the next season begins.
Yeah, like enjoy. We just lo que queremos dejarles saber es que disfruten su maternidad, disfruten su maternidad al máximo, porque el primer año pasa volando, el segundo pasa en un abrir y cerrar de ojos, y así sucesivamente. Cuando usted ya no se da cuenta, ya su hijo va a tener 4 años, va a tener 2 años. Así que este es un espacio para ustedes. Si necesitan ayuda, nosotras estamos aquí dispuestas a escucharlas. Cualquier cosa que necesiten de nosotras, solamente tienen que escribirnos. No olviden en dejarnos saber en los comentarios si quieren escuchar más sobre el tema o de algunos tips que quieran. Todas las preguntas son válidas. No hay preguntas que sean estúpidas, no hay preguntas que sean no importantes, así que esperemos que les guste y nada, como dije, muchas gracias por invitarme. Ojalá y podamos vernos de nuevo para dialogar un poquito más de cualquier otro tema que quieran, o especialmente el de motherhood, porque hay muchas cosas que hay que hablar sobre la maternidad que no se tocaron hoy.
But yeah, again, as always, thank you for listening and watching, and I hope this resonates with, someone out there, any mother that might be dealing with something, and to know that you're not alone, you're not crazy, and we can go ahead and touch on everything. But thank you for saying your yes and coming and taking time out of your day to speak on your experience as a mother. And I know it's not easy, but I'm just grateful. So yeah, thank you guys for coming. And till next time.
Bye.